Welcome back to the channel. Matt Garland here, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. We are live. We are blessed. Thank God for another day. Today is Thursday here in New York City. We got Tukes Productions in the building with us today.
Early.
There goes Tukes.
A little early.
You know, it's so crazy. I was at an event today and at Hofstra, where Earn Your Leisure, and probably like 5 people came up to me and said, "Where's Tukes?"
You joking?
No, I'm dead serious. They was like,
Interesting.
"Where's Tukes? Why isn't he with you?" And I said, "I don't know." I didn't tell him about it.
you didn't. I had no idea you was even out
Yeah.
and about today.
Yeah, we was at Hofstra today. They had the guys had an engagement there. It was pretty dope, and met a lot of people and got to connect. The Toronto crew was in the building too. Shout out to all of our people from Toronto.
Are they out here?
Yeah, they came out here yesterday to celebrate one of their birthdays.
Wow.
They came out here yesterday, which I didn't know until this morning. They hit me up like, "Yo, you going to the Hofstra event?" I'm like, "Yeah, y'all in town?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh shit." Even Marcus was in town. M500 was in town yesterday.
Oh, wow.
He went to Wall Street, and I didn't know that until later in the night. So I'm like, damn, I kind of missed everything, all the festivities. But whatever, it is what it is. All right, make sure y'all go to mgbookstore.com. Go to mgbookstore.com, pick up the latest and greatest house economics and the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. For all of you people who are part of the Learning Academy, we have a call tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Zoom link is in the community app. And also, those of you who are thinking about registering for the 10-week course or the Learning Center or joining the Learning Center, part of the book club community, the bookstore community, you have until Friday at midnight to get the current price structure, because come Saturday morning, the prices will be up for both. So currently the 10-week course is $97, one-time fee for 10 weeks. And yeah, that's going to go to probably $300 on Saturday. So pre-sale ends tomorrow at midnight. Tanisha's in the building too. Tanisha, can you drop the link in the comments for me as well? And all your call too, Tanisha. I didn't forget about you. I've just been going crazy with a lot of different things. All right. Yeah. So somebody said, "Good evening, date night, hashtag Eagles." This is not an Eagles jersey. This is a throwback Joe Namath from the Jets jersey, okay?
You a Jets fan?
I've been a Jets fan my whole life.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. I fired them. I fired the Jets. When I saw Fireman Ed quit, I quit too. I fired them. He went back though. I didn't go back, but I'm still gangrene all the way. You know. So today, I decided. I said, you know what? It feels good outside, and I've had the jersey. I've never worn it. I've had it for a while now, and I said, you know what? Let me wear this jersey today. I'm going to a college. Let me wear a jersey today. Let me wear a throwback. I haven't worn a jersey in a while.
You went back to like 06, 07 today.
Yeah, I brought it back. You know, crispy ears on his feet, keep the cipher complete. You know what I'm saying? With the Joe Namath throwback. Shout out to Mitchell and Ness. So I said, okay, I'm feeling kind of good. You know, had to put on a little rollie to match the jersey. You know, the green and the green. You know, but yeah, light stunt. Yeah, so link is in the chat right there if you want to join the 10-week course, because it is going up. It is going up. All right, so let's talk about today's topic. We are talking about, what are we talking about today, Tukes?
Today we're going to talk about how you can become a loan officer
Interesting.
and all of the requirements, qualifications, so on, for those who are interested in pursuing a career in lending, I guess. So we're going to cover all those topics. We have a lot of questions, and hopefully MG can break it down precisely.
They want to pursue a career in lending. I always get a lot of questions about that too. It's like, how do I become a loan officer? Or is a loan officer a good career to have? Or if I get into real estate, do you think being a loan officer, especially in today's market, is it good? I always get those questions all the time.
You know, it's funny. When I first met you, I had no idea what your job title was. Like, I didn't even know that was even a thing. Like, I always thought like a real estate agent was who you deal with only. So I'm sure there's probably other people who think the same. But mind you, this is like 5-6 years ago. So Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I thought the same too 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I had no clue what a loan officer was, what they did, and how they did it. Until, I spoke to my best friend, Phil, my man Dab, who's actually a pastor. Shout out to Phil in 2819 Church in Atlanta. And he told me, hey, yo, you should look in the paper. And no, he didn't say you look in the paper. You should be a loan officer. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is a loan officer? He's like, they work at the bank and they help people buy houses by giving them mortgages. I'm like, a mortgage? What's a mortgage? He's like, the loan they get to get a house. I'm like, oh, really? He was like, yo, my man, little Ant, shout out to Ant Hope. He's still in the business to this day. That's my brother. He was in the business already, I think like 2 years now. He was already making six figures. Now, mind you, this is 2003.
Okay.
2004. Let me put this in perspective for you folks. 2003, 2004. You talking about a young 24, 25-year-old, 26-year-old. Talking about he making six figures in 2003. And it's legal? Like what?
Yeah.
You gotta understand, six figures is not a lot of money today. To some of y'all out there in my channel, y'all be debating me in the comments. I'm not listening to y'all. Or if you live here, it's a lot of money. No, it's not. But 2003, 2004, that was a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Out here in New York, especially.
In general, he was in North Carolina doing that. So
Oh,
imagine back then, 20 years ago, and the dirty South was cheap.
Yeah.
Making that type of money. So that sparked my interest because I said, yo, if my man Ant could do this, shit, I know I can do it too. And I had no clue what he did.
Yeah.
So I looked in the paper and I saw, now mind you, the newspaper was where you had to go and find a job.
Right.
Like there was no LinkedIn, there was none of these job boards like you have now. Shit, I think I still was using AOL dial-up at this time. Word, like with beep,
Yeah, I
like
remember
all that shit.
America Online.
America Online, oh, that is crazy. Ridiculous. One of the worst systems ever. Right? So I looked in the paper. I saw there was so many. Now, mind you, at this time, I've always worked sales jobs, customer service. Like working in the airport was my first really like kind of blue collar type of situation I was in. But I always did sales jobs with customer service. I was always on the phone or working in like Circuit City or something like that. I always sold with commission. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like I already sell.
Yeah.
I already have people skills because I worked in the Circuit City environment. I sold cars at one time. I did a lot of customer service jobs, telemarketing jobs. So I had that prerequisite skill set, I would say you need to be a salesperson, right?
Right.
So I looked in the paper and I saw all these jobs. So I kind of went to like my first 3 interviews. And I got hired by all 3 companies and I chose what I thought was the best company at that time. And I haven't looked back since, so to speak. So that's kind of like the short story
Of how you got into loan.
of how I got into the mortgage business.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a loan was. I didn't come into this as I want to be an investor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in real estate. No, that wasn't common where I came from.
Yeah.
What the fuck is an investor? You know what I'm saying? Let alone loan officer. Shit, the people who were investing in properties didn't look like me, right? Or they came from other cultures. You know, my Asian folks or like my Guyanese. It was like, growing up in Queens, a lot of Guyanese, a lot of Asians, stuff like that. They always owned properties and stuff like that, but you just figure like that's what they do, right? They own everything, and black people, we just rent it, right? So I didn't come in this like yo, let me be a real estate investor. It was more, I came into this transactional. So for those of you who are watching this who may want to be an investor, this is why I always tell you, yo, the best way to get into real estate, in my opinion, is the way I came in. I came in wanting a job, wanting a career. I'm a college dropout. All of my people, pretty much that are all my friends, for the most part, graduated college. So for me, it was about trying to find a career. It's something that my initial plan was to move back to North Carolina. So I was looking for something that I could make New York money and bring it to the South and live like a king.
Smart.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into this business. And when I came to the business, it was a different time, a different place, but it was good. You didn't have to be licensed then either.
So you didn't have an NMLS number?
No, there was no NMLS.
Interesting.
NMLS didn't come about until the market crashed.
So it's more of like verification or security to see like if you do get into something or if you are doing things that you're not supposed to, that number is attached to your name.
Yeah,
Sort of.
so it's basically it's regulated now. When I
Right.
came in there, it was the wild. Why you think I always say it's the wild cowboy days?
Yeah.
Like literally, I had no experience selling loans, and then here you are, you get hired by a company, and they say you're a loan officer. Okay,
Yeah.
great. You know what I mean? I'm a loan officer now. What the fuck does that really mean?
Right.
I have no clue. There's no professional development. It's just whatever the company may or may not offer you in training, that's the training you had. So like a real estate person always had to get a real estate license, but a loan officer, you did not have to get a loan officer license. And then when the market crashed, it was because there was a lot of wild cowboys in here
Yeah.
in this business. People who got kicked off of Wall Street that did financial crimes. There was no real regulation. The companies and the banks and the lenders were the ones who had to be able to regulate you if they wanted to hire you now based off your background, all right? But when the market crashed and they came out with the licensing system in MLS, is now you got to go through it. Like if you had bad credit, you have to explain why you had bad credit and what are you doing to fix it. Like that, if you have bad credit, that could hurt your licensing chances, even to this day. Right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like if you have certain things that are outstanding, if you have like tax liabilities and stuff like that, they want to see you in a payment arrangement, right? If you have bankruptcies, foreclosures, if it's within a year or two you trying to apply, why? Right? And that could possibly get your license turned down, you know? So it's a different system, and they did that to make sure anybody just couldn't come in here and talk to people about these financial decisions. So I think it was the right thing that they did to enact licensing for loan officers.
So is it harder to be like a loan officer or work at a bank as a teller? Like, is it the same kind of situation?
No, it's a fucking completely different situation. A teller versus a loan officer? You
Well,
kidding me?
just working in a bank in general, is that how it's still looked at? As like, you're still working for a bank, or like, is there a difference in working in a bank or, you know what I mean?
Well, there's three types of people that originate mortgages, right? You have big retail banks, like you're speaking of, that have checkings and savings and tellers and things of that nature. Then you have direct lenders or correspondent lenders, right?
Okay.
Which that's what I work for, is a correspondent lender. They're a mortgage bank, but they don't have checking and saving. They specialize and focus only on mortgages.
Okay.
And then you have mortgage brokers who don't have money to lend. They act more as a middleman. So they're bringing the borrower and the lender together, right?
Okay.
And they don't have a warehouse line. They're not a bank. They're just a broker, and they have multiple banks that they work with, right? So those are the type of institutions that you can work for on the side. So the loan officer role is completely different from a teller's role,
Right.
right? Completely different. There's two different job functions.
Got you. So now, if you wanted to be a loan officer, what qualifications do you need to be a loan officer, as opposed to those other avenues of working in a bank?
First, basic requirements is basically being 18 years old,
Okay.
right? So honestly,
18.
my daughter this year, she can go get her loan officer license. All right, it's pretty cool. I just thought
Yeah,
about
that's
that
dope.
shit. She'll be 18. You need a high school diploma or a GED, right? You have to complete pre-licensing courses. So you have to take a 20-hour class, right? A pre-licensing class. So it's basically going to teach you like federal laws, regulations, ethics, the lender standards, stuff like that, right? It's not teaching you products and programs and how to sell and how to do any of those things. It's teaching you the basic fundamentals of the law, basically.
The law. Okay.
Because like it's teaching like fair housing act and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Learning the laws, all right, you got to learn this. Don't break the law. You know what I'm saying? Don't get yourself caught up, basically, right? So once you do that, right? You pass your 20 hours, then you have to typically when you go to a school, and you can do these schools online or in person, right? It's more common now to do this virtually.
You did it in person, I'm assuming, back then.
I did it. So when I first got my license and I first did everything, I think I got my license, I don't even freaking know, 2010.
2010.
09, something. I don't even remember. That's how long ago it was. That's why my number is 58700. Right? So when you see newer people, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they got all these numbers.
Yeah.
Right? If I had to say that, I would lose my fucking mind, right? But I'm an OG.
Yeah.
So I got my license like when it first came out and we were required, and they gave us a certain period of time before we had to. But again, like I said, I did my here in Long Island. I did my my in-person class, and you do the 20 hours. You got to pass the class exam. And once you pass that class exam, they send it up to the NMLS saying that, hey, you met the requirements of the 20 hours. You passed everything that you need to pass on that end. And then now you got to go take the federal exam, which the federal exam is probably going to take you a couple hours to complete it. It's a lot of questions.
Is it multiple choice or
Yeah, multiple choice.
Okay.
Multiple choice. I don't know what it is now. I'm pretty sure it's the same, but it's multiple choice. And it's all based off of what you learned inside that class. So,
Right.
But you know, like with all these tests, they always be like the ones, they always use the same question and they ask it in a different way, and they confuse the hell out of you.
Yeah, probably a test I would not do well in because I overthink a lot. So that's
I
probably...
failed it the first time, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you need a 75 to pass, and I probably got like a 70 the first time, and you have to wait 30 days, I believe.
Okay, I was
Until
gonna.
you could-
Okay,
until you
30
could-
days isn't bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks, but yeah, but I thought it was like 6 months or something like that. You know?
No, but if you fail it, I believe, and I think I have it written here. If you fail it, I believe 3 times or something like that. So, you know, it's the safe MLO class, right? Yeah, if you fail it, those are 30-way penalty. If you take the 7 more than 3, yep, 3 times. If you fail it 3 times, then you gotta wait 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, if 3 times, it's kind of like you should probably really just study it a lot more. You failing 2 times in a row.
What I recommend anybody who might be watching this or is going to go through this process.
Yeah.
A lot of these online institutions, and you can, even if you take one in person, you can do study exams, practice exams, right? And take the practice exams as many times as you can. You might have to pay a couple $100s for the service.
Yeah.
But you can take the practice exam so many times. And what I try to tell people is, and the best advice I got was, after I failed, there was like, no, take the practice exams, and when you start getting 80s, 85s on that, then you're ready for it. Because even if you slip a little bit, you'll still be above that 75.
Right.
So that's what I did. Like the week leading up to my exam, I remember I was taking practice exams 2-3 times a day. Like I was spending like hours because I was already in the business and I needed this shit so I could continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I have to buckle down and pass this. So I was taking 2 or 3 of these a day leading up to my my safe test.
Yeah.
You know, the safe MLO test. And it worked. You know, I think I got like an 80 on that joint. I was happy and in the pig and shit.
Did being in the business help you? Like, did it give you an advantage?
No, because when I was in the business, we never learned the laws. So when I had to get licensed, you got to do all of this. This is the first time I ever learned there's laws to this.
Yeah.
You know, I knew the rules and regulations of how to get deals done because when I came in this in the Wild Cowboy days, it was all about getting deals closed. So I knew the guidelines of what I was trying to sell to make money and stuff like that, but I didn't, and I understood right from wrong, right?
Right.
But I didn't understand deep detail about the laws. And this is what taught me, like, the laws. Although you're not going to apply any of this shit in your day-to-day.
Yeah. That was my next question.
Nah, you're not applying it. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
But you know it.
Right.
And if you mess up and you do something wrong, hey, they can say, well, you got a license. You have a responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so that's what I'm saying. When whoever's taking this, make sure you study, take the practice test, and don't overthink it. Because it's easy to, like, I know when I take this, sometimes I may go A, then I'm like, maybe it's C.
That's so.
Then I'm like, oh, maybe it's B. Like,
that's me right there.
like that I'm erasing and shit.
Yeah.
Like, nah, just go with your gut. Go with your gut and then move on. Because 9 times out of 10, your gut is right. And if you second guessing yourself, you're probably
doing too much.
You're doing too much, and you're gonna go back and you're gonna now get yourself false. So once you pass your SAFE Act, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have to, register with the NMLS.
Okay.
You have to give a credit check, so you got to give them authorization to run your credit and everything like that. You got to provide a criminal background check. You got to give fingerprints.
Where should your credit be at though for something like that? Just like they just want to see if you have any collections, or what are they
Well, they're
looking
looking
for?
for derogatory stuff. You know, obviously, the higher and cleaner your credit, the better. But
Right.
even if you have a low, mid 600 credit scores, you should be fine as long as you don't have a lot of foolishness on there, late
Right. Right.
payments, judgments, things of that nature. And if you do, you're just going to have to write letters of explanation, provide documentation depending on what you're telling them.
Right.
They may ask to see documentation. Like, this is like no joke. Like, this is, you got to take fingerprints. Like, I recently just had to get re-fingerprinted again. Right? Like, got to get fingerprints. Like, you're on file. This is going in the FBI database. Like,
Damn.
yeah, this is not no joke. This is like a career. This is not like no BS. So
Right.
you got to go through all of that. You got to disclose any charges from any financial regulatory agency. So if the SEC came at you and stuff like that, you got to disclose all of that information. You got to provide 10 years worth of financial services employment. You really don't. It says that, but you really don't have to provide 10 years, because if you don't got 10 years, you don't need it. It could be your
Right.
first job, right? But they want to see, if you've been in the industry. If you do, you just provide your things. And then your ID, right? Proof of ID. You upload all of this stuff into the NMLS website,
Yeah.
and then you have to get sponsored, right? So you can provide all of this and stuff like that, but then now you need a bank or a mortgage brokerage, to sponsor you. And the sponsoring is basically saying that, hey, this person is going to work for 123 Main Street Mortgage Company, right?
Okay.
So once you're sponsored by them, they see it on the MLS. It's like you're attaching your license to that bank, and then whatever state you're looking to get license in, you submit the documents to their banking department, and then it's just a waiting game. Now, some states are faster to get approved than others. New York is the absolute worst. It takes forever to get approved in New York for anything.
Well, how long?
Oh, it could take up to a year.
Before you move on to the next point, you said a sponsor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that something how do you get a sponsor? Like, what's the...
So that's about finding a...
Is it just any bank, or it's going to be a bank you work at?
It's not. You can't come to me like, hey, Matt, sponsor me
Right.
to get licensed. Like, why? Like, why am I?
Yeah.
I don't even know you.
Right.
No. So if you're looking to get sponsored, you got to pick a bank that you're going to work at.
Okay.
Or a brokerage that you're going to work at, because that's where you're hanging your license, so to speak, with that company.
Okay.
So it needs to be someone that you're going to work for. So if you're going through the process and you get licensed, first of all, if you're going to do this, you should have some sort of idea of where you're going.
Okay.
Because if you're going through all of this and you just pass your test and you don't even know who you're going to work for, it's like, why you do all of this for?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
your license won't get approved until you get an employer.
Right. Okay.
So you need an employer. Or they can say, I'm ready to approve your license, where's your job? Right? So finding out who you're going to work for, especially if you're new, you got to start interviewing. Once you pass your test, you need to start interviewing at banks and brokerages and seeing who's willing to take you on, who's willing to train you, who's willing to really give you a shot and give you an opportunity. I would probably recommend someone going to a big bank if they can, like, because most big banks will provide a lot of training, stuff like that, and might provide some sort of little base salary just to get you going.
Yeah.
So I would probably say that, or if not, a company that's going to have training for new folks, because a lot of banks out here don't have training.
So a bigger bank would have more money to kind of provide those classes for
Absolutely.
new
Absolutely. Like for me, if you come to my world, I have to be the one responsible for providing you that training, and I'm not doing that.
Well, it's probably expensive, right?
It's not even that expensive. It's time consuming. I don't got time for that.
Well,
I better have time for me.
Is this training like computer, or it's like...
No, it's training. I'm talking about training, not just computer, not just some modules on a computer screen. I'm talking.
Well, that's what most people,
No, I'm talking
used to.
training, like somebody that you can shadow people, like you can sit with them, you can be a part of phone calls and
Okay.
conversations. See, that's what we call training, right? Now in today, they call it mentorship. You know
I
what
call
I'm
that
saying?
more of like intern kind of sort of.
I mean, you're not an intern
Or
because you're trying to
shadowing,
get
or
paid. You're
yeah,
shadowing, so your work is on the job training. It's
right,
like you're going to a company and they're able to say, you know what, these 2 or 3 loan officers, they're going to be responsible for training you,
okay,
right? So now you're able to sit with them, talk with them, ask questions, hear phone calls, be in meetings, go on the field with them. Like, I'm talking about training because this shit is hard.
yeah, that's dope
Like,
though.
it's hard, but you need that. As a new person, you need that. And the way the world is, and I actually feel bad for, and maybe I need to just start doing some more training and just hire a bunch of loan officers and just fucking crush this whole shit, right? Because as I'm thinking about this right now, right? So you got me thinking about my memories. I feel bad for today's people.
Okay,
It's because of shit like this.
yeah. So people lack a lot of social skills with phones and media.
Yeah, but yes, but it also with COVID, with everybody being remote,
Mm-hmm.
you missed that that water cooler conversation. Even like, was it who was telling us about that? Who was saying us about it? And I never thought about that until they said that.
I think it was
was that?
it was the commercial real estate. I think
It was Tiffany.
Tiffany. Yeah.
Shout out to Tiffany Riley. When we was talking about the workers are not going back to work because of Zoom and this, that,
Yeah.
and third, it's great for employees. And she was like, no, it's actually bad because you don't get that water locker cooler talk. You don't get to be able to move up and have those type of conversations. You don't get that kind of mentorship
Yeah.
at the office from people who are in higher levels than you. And I never thought about it that way because I'm just looking at it from a monetary business owner perspective. Like I save a ton of money right now.
Right.
But when I thought about it, I said, she's actually right. Because, look, if you're not in especially in this business, if you're not in the office talking to people and being able to really like, yo, you closed how many deals? Like,
Yeah.
yo, what was your challenges? Da-da-da-da. Like, I remember when I first came in this business, I was in the office every single day. Every day, bro, pounding the phone. In the training classes and meetings that we used to have, in the team meetings, right? You get a sense of like camaraderie when you're in the office, and especially this is such a tough business. When you're around like-minded individuals
Yeah.
in the office, you also get energy off of that too to say, you know what, let me keep going. Because if I'm doing like shit, but this motherfucker that's sitting right over here, he's killing it, yo, let me work harder. And then now you're able to pick their brain on casual, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have that in today's world. Like,
Right.
I don't even know the last time I seen my team. I'm dead serious, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know the last time I've seen my team. Everything's virtual. Yeah, we may have calls and stuff like that, but it's not the same. Because I'm moving at, like, I'm outside. I'm
Yeah.
all over the place, right? So I'm not tapped into what they're doing. And actually, as we was talking about this, I'm talking about the training. I'm like, damn, I actually miss that, being in the office and being able to kind of speak to people and other producers and other managers and other leaders, because you get ideas. You get, like, it's nothing like that proximity because you
Right.
never know, right? So for today's loan officer, I feel bad. So I would highly recommend, if you were today's loan officer, if you're able to get into a company that has office culture, go for it.
yeah.
Because that office culture can definitely help you get to the next level because it provides an energy. I remember days, bro, I used to go in the office feeling like shit. And the energy of the office, it'd be humming. Like, literally humming. It's just high energy, da-da-da-da-da, closing deals. And it's like, fuck, I need to get my shit on. I gotta close. It keeps that hunger in you.
Yeah.
As I just said to you, yo, I ain't got time for that. And I just really say, wait a minute, hold on. What if I recreated that?
I'm not sure how you would recreate that now, but it's something definitely to push for sure. Having that kind of environment, because I definitely agree with you though. especially like even when you're working jobs, and even with what we do, we're just in front of a camera most of the time, so we don't really get to. I mean, you obviously are out in the field more, so you're talking to people, but it's not the same when it comes to like your business transactions and so on. Like networking is not the same as like your transactional business when it comes to what you're doing. So I definitely understand that for sure, and it definitely makes sense. But as far as how you're gonna do that, I'm not really sure, because you don't want to. You obviously pay overhead to have that kind of environment or culture created again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to create a culture. Some days I do, some days I don't. I'll be honest. And as I'm speaking to this, I got someone sentimental. I get sentimental about shit like that, right? But I think this is like a good opportunity to probably do something like that, because there's none of this. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's none of this. I'm pretty sure companies still operate like this. Maybe I'm just in the wind right now, but like that used to be a vibe. Like really going into the office and having that culture.
Yeah.
You know, is dope. So all you newbies who want to get into business, find the culture, because that's going to be a very important part of your growth and becoming an MLO, right? And that's going to help you along your journey. So yes, you get sponsored by a company, then you get sponsored, and then you get licensed, then you work for that company.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is if you're doing there's two sides of being a mortgage loan officer. There's the depository and there's state. Depositories are like Chase, Wells Fargo, right? They have federal licenses. So that means when folks come to be a loan officer for a federal institution, they are exempt from state licensing. They're under the federal umbrella, and they are registered MLOs. They're not licensed MLOs. They're registered because they're under the Fed umbrella.
Okay.
So now they get to, once they get hired by a depository or on that side, they can originate loans in the United States of America without getting individual state licenses.
Who are these? Like, do you know anybody?
Depositories. I used to work, Flagstar was one of them. When you met me, I was working on Flagstar, right?
Okay.
That was a depository institution because Flagstar has actual bank branches. So I was registered, my license was, for the state side, was put on the shelf.
Right.
And then because I moved to the Fed side, and when I was on the Fed side, I was nationwide. Now I'm on the state side, so on the state side, you have to be individually licensed in each state that you want to do business in.
Got you.
So it's easier. You'll see a lot of people work on the federal side because you don't have to go through the individual state licensing. And on the federal side, you can just get registered. And as soon as you hire, you're registered. Now you have the whole country at your disposal to originate it.
But what's the catch?
Oh, it's a lot of catches.
Because you can originate wherever you want, right? In the state, in the country. But like, there has to be some type of like, maybe you may not make as much commission on a deal. Is that how it works with?
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta answer this.
You can start as a LO, assistant, many jobs. Yeah, I haven't even seen what's going on in the chat. But it seems like we have some loan officers in here. There's always loan officers watching. So it's pretty cool to see what people went through for their experience to become a loan officer. Loan officer assistant.
Real officer, I'll answer your question in a second. I'm doing investment stuff right now, so y'all gotta give me a second. Please.
Well, anyways, how's everyone doing today? We have 95 people watching, so if you can, please hit that like button. And make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe to MG the Mortgage Guy. Kind of dead in the chat right now. I was at LOA for about 6 months.
So what I was saying? I'm sorry.
I don't remember. I got caught. I was starting to focus on the chat.
No, so all right, so we're talking about federal and state. So that's how you on both sides, right? So right now when you're working for like a mortgage company or mortgage broker, those are state. When you're working for a Chase or Wells Fargo, the Flag Stars, those are depositories. So you guys, know that I'm talking about. It doesn't take nothing. You used to ask me what's the difference. The difference is if you're working for a big bank like that, your compensation is going to be a lot less. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
They're going to pay you a lot less because they feel as if, well, we're a big bank, so screw you. Basically, come work here, and you have our brand and the power of our brand, our reach, our customers. You know what I'm saying? So they pay you a lot less. And then you got a lot of corporate politics that come with that. You're working for a corporation now, a big corporation. So you got to move according to their move. Like if I was working at a big bank like this, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. And this is why you see a lot of loan officers that don't put out content is because their banks handcuff them.
Right. I always hear you say that to other loan officers and tell them,
Fuck them.
yeah.
Fuck
I mean,
them.
I didn't want to say it, but
I say fuck them. Do you? Because ultimately you got to build your own brand. Because what if that bank goes out of business? Then what you not? This is why you won't hear me promoting the bank like I work for XYZ Bank. No, because for years, I used to be known as Matt that works for Flagstar, Matt that works for Chase, or Matt that works for Head, instead of Matt.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you leave a company, you always got to explain to your real estate partners, your cousin, oh, why you leave Chase? They're such a good company. Da, 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 da. Oh, why you leave here? Da, da, da. Who cares? You wasn't doing business with them anyway. You came to them because of me, right? So I got tired of explaining that. So when I got on social, I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm representing me. I'm Matt, MG Home Loans at that time. Matt G Home Loans at that time. And I'm a brand me. And now I turned into MG the Mortgage Guy. And no one knows who I work for until you apply. I love that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think of another situation where it's like that, where it's like, I mean, there's a ton of companies where it's like more commercial, and then you have like the third party kind of situations where, you don't get as much traffic, but the commissions are obviously more larger if you're working for like a third party or off brand kind of situation.
Say that again?
Yo, you got to be tapped in right now with this
Bro,
conversation.
I can't, bro. Like, I got shit going on. I'm about to dead this. Like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyways.
Too much shit going on right now, bro.
So is it safe to say, anyways, we'll switch to the next situation. Is it safe to say that you need social skills to be a loan officer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My bad, y'all. I got things going on. Do you need social skills to be a loan officer? Yes, you do. You definitely need social skills. You need to be able to interact and communicate. Being an introvert in any sales business is very difficult because you have to be out there meeting people. You have to be out there shaking hands, kissing babies. Like, you got to be on the campaign trail. You got to be a networker. You can't just sit back and expect deals to fall in your lap. You got to go get deals. Even if you on the telephone. Like when I came into business, I was on the telephone, right? And I was telemarketing to get deals. And we would cold call people all day long, 8 hours a day, straight. I'm talking about, this is before we got dollar systems and we used to manual dial everything. So literally I used to have the phone off the hook every day, all day long, right? And I have my headset on, and when the people pick up the phone, you got 30 seconds. Hey, what's up? This is Matt. I'm calling from da-da-da-da-da-da. Look, I'm calling about your loan on 123 Main Street. You're still a current owner, correct? Yeah, look, I'm seeing that my records are indicating that you're paying the rate above 7% right now. You know the market right now is about 4.5%. Like you got to get into it like quick. You ain't got much time because people going to hang up on you. Even you go through that, bang, they hanging up on you, right? Or they cursing you out, or why your people keep calling me, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like it's crazy. So you have to be able to like capture people on the phone, face to face. It's like they say, like that elevator pitch. Like the time you got in the elevator with somebody, if they ask you what you do, you got to be able to articulate that in a very short period of time. You got to catch their attention. And it's the same thing with doing sales. It's like, especially loan officer, real estate type sales, like you have to be able to capture that person and their attention. Like, why would they want to work with you? So you got to be very, you got to be very charismatic, right? You got to have like some sort of swag to you. in my opinion, to really be successful in this business. Because if you don't have that type of skill set, if you're not personable, and if you can't articulate, right? This is why I always preach on here, effective communication. If you can't articulate something to someone to where they can understand what they're doing, they're just going to be confused and they're not going to do business with you. They're going to go somewhere else.
I couldn't agree more with that.
They're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, this motherfucker talking in circles, bro. They're going to say, he's talking in circles, or he's trying to sell me.
Yeah.
He's trying to bang me out. He's a used car salesman. Like, he's giving me, like, slime ball vibes because I don't understand him. Right? So I had to learn, like, yo, effective communication is very important in sales. Like, I have to be able to break things down. And that was a skill set that's learned. I wasn't born with that.
So you can learn that.
Absolutely. I've learned
it. So is there anything that you can recommend in order to practice that kind of
slow down when you speak. Number one, people talk too fast.
Yeah, I'm liking this part of the conversation.
No, but people talk too fast.
Articulation.
Sometimes people just talk way too fast.
Okay.
And sometimes just slow down, bro. What you trying to say?
Is this what you learned, or this is just what you?
No, this is what I've learned.
Okay.
Slow down. Like it's like even when I am teaching, right? When I'm in my webinars and I'm in these classes for 2-3 hours, and this 10-week course is gonna be phenomenal. I'm slowing down my messaging. I may stay on the slide for a few minutes. I may repeat something 2, 3, 4 times. I'm going to ask, do you understand? Okay? Right? It's effective communication. So if I'm speaking to someone over the phone and I'm going over, this is important information. This is probably the biggest financial decision that someone's going to make.
Right.
Right? So you have to be able to get this information across to them the way they can understand. So tailoring your communication to your audience is very important because every person is different. I can't talk to Tukes the same way I would talk to Tanisha. And I can't talk to Tanisha the same way I'm going to talk to Lady Gibson.
Right.
Or the same way I'm going to talk to Shannon Smith. Right? Everyone is different. So what I had to learn also with effective communication is I had to speak to each of them the way they need to be spoken to, the way they learn. Because oftentimes in sales, we speak how we want to speak. It's like sometimes we talk and we don't listen.
Right.
We always want to talk and interject and say what we want to say. Sometimes you just want to sit back and just shut the fuck up and listen. It's another thing with salespeople. Effective communication and listening is the two most important things. You need to know when to talk and when not to talk, because sometimes you sell yourself out of it.
These are clips right here. These are clips right here.
This is a fact, though. Sometimes you talk too much and you sell yourself out of the deal. You sell yourself out of the woman. You sell yourself out of your opportunities because you just keep talking when you already had the deal. So sometimes you just have to speak enough and get a response. Do you understand what I just went over? Okay. Can you recap it for me? There's nothing wrong. Like, yo, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I just went over your first bit of your terms. Can you just, in your words, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page, And the person, now I'm saying that in a fashion, in a way, to where they're not coming back to me and they're going to feel offended.
Right.
They're not going to feel like, oh, you trying to talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Nah. I'm just trying to make sure you got this, man, because I know this is a lot of information. Especially if you told me in the beginning of the conversation you don't have experience with real estate like that. So I want to make sure that because my goal is not for you just to do this deal. I need you just to do this deal, but also to teach others how to do the same thing that you did, to repeat that process. I know you got people you love, you got family members, co-workers, and just people in your inner circle that want to do exactly what you're doing, right? I'm like, yeah. All right, so my job is, if I do a good enough job, that means how I measure it is that you being able to go ahead and articulate this to teach someone else. And they'd be like, oh, I'm like, yeah.
This guy. This is how your storytelling goes too. It's the same thing. It's so funny.
But this is the real talk. I'm telling you,
Oh,
this
man.
is what I do. And this is when I be like, damn. They be like, damn, you're good. I be like, yeah. Like, this is how I get referrals, and this is how I stay in business. Because if you're smart enough and you're doing this, what they going to ask you? Where you learn this from?
Yeah, that's what most people ask.
Exactly my point. They're going to say, yo, my mortgage guy. So I was the mortgage guy before I was the mortgage guy.
Right.
So that's how my business was built, off of referrals, because referrals will come in. And then when they get on the phone, they say, yo, you spoke to John. Yo, John just told me all about his deal, how you got him, da-da-da. You know, this dude is dumb as doornails. But he was talking like he knew something. So I said, I need to talk to the person who taught him this.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, you know, I work by referrals. This is how I work. I'm an educator. I'm not a salesperson. I'm going to sell you some shit. Don't let's not get it twisted. Because at some point, I got to turn into a salesperson on you too. But I'm going to educate you enough so you can make an educated decision so it don't feel salesy to you.
Right.
People want to get sold every day, B.
People want to get sold every day.
People want to get sold every day. It's either you doing the selling or you being sold.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure there's more you learned, but those are the two key things.
Effective communication and listen. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up, man. Please. Some of y'all just talk too much. No one want to hear this shit. Shut up, bro.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Stop telling me about the car features, bro. I'm never using none of this shit. I was already sold when I walked in the door saying I want the Range Rover.
Yeah.
Just make the cost of it work for me.
Yeah.
This is my budget. Get me close to it. And if it's a couple dollars over, I'm going to buy it. But shut the hell up about some hydraulic system and all this shit that I don't even care about, bro. You making me question this now. Because now I'm going to start thinking about technology, and then now I'm going to start thinking about, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm thinking about too much.
Well, that has to do with them, you know, like what you said, just being able to speak to whoever, like selling to the people that are coming in. So, like, if you walk in a certain way, you should be able to kind of feel the vibe out and kind of know what kind of person is going to want to listen to all the features of a car or not. And I know you don't want to listen to anything when it comes to all these features. You just, how much does it cost? And this is what I want. That's it. So that's how you normally are when it comes to like anything with cars or anything like that. Here we go, guys. He's back at it.
Hold on, sorry.
He's back at it again, guys.
Sorry.
I need some music, some Jeopardy music or something.
Sorry.
Guy. Dun 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 dun. Oh, I thought that was Nicki Minaj. It's not Nicki.
What was your
Nicki
question?
Minaj.
That does look like who? Tawana?
Yeah.
Tawana, yo, why you looking like Nicki Minaj over here? I see it too, dude. Yo, that profile pic definitely from a distance look like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Uh,
We have a super chat. Yeah, let me see. Can you talk about mortgage loan processing as a career path or mortgage career path for introverts? Interesting.
Say that again?
Mortgage loan processing
What about it?
as a career path if you're not social like yourself and you can't sell, you can't shut the F up.
I'm glad we're talking about this, right? So I think there are other ways. So, all right, we talk about the effective communication for salespeople, That's something. That's one of the, and then the hustle is the main important thing. You got to be able to grind. You got to have thick. So there's a lot of things you need to be a loan officer. Before I get to the processor question, because I went on a little rant about, you know, your communication skills, effective communication, your listening skills, but you also need thick ass skin. You're going to be told no more than you're going to get yeses. You're going to get yelled at all the time, right?
Yeah.
All that's going to happen. You need to have an intense work ethic, because you have to continuously out here pound the pavement, pound the phones, like following up. Like your work ethic has to be, you got to be organized, right? You can't just be saying like, that's when I'm structured. And I think that's why I hate structure so much, because I was so structured so much of my time that it blew minds. But you got to be structured with this. You got to have a plan of action every single day of what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and what's going to be the end result to it, right? So those are the couple things that I would say to be a successful loan officer. Those are the skill sets that you will need.
Right.
Now, to be a loan processor, you don't need to have those. You can be an introvert, right? Because you're really speaking to underwriters and loan officers and clients, but it's more so you're already in the system. So it's like, let me get the paperwork, but you still need to have some sort of communication skills, because again, you got to communicate things to the clients, because once you get the loan approved, the loan processor now owns that file, and they're the ones who's pushing the paperwork between the borrower, loan officer, and the underwriter. So they got to be super organized, making sure, because it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of files moving, so you got to make sure that as a loan processor, you're super organized. You work on time management, because if you got 40, 50 loans in your pipeline that you're working on, you got to make sure that you're getting these files every single day, because everybody wants to close and everybody needs to close tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every file is a rush. Every file has urgency. Every file has a fire attached to it, right? So you have to be able to learn how to really determine what really has a fire, or just who lit a match. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between sparking a match or a 3-alarm fire. Some files have the 3-alarm fire. Some files are just a match. But a loan officer will always say, I need my file pushed because I'm about to lose the deal.
Right.
We're always about to lose a deal, right? So you have to be able to balance. And when you're dealing with, and when you're a loan processor, you got to think about it. If you got 40, 50 loan files, that could be a minimum of 80 to 160 people that you have to deal with now. Think about this, right? You got the borrower. Let's say if they're married or have a boo. That's 2. God forbid they got co-signers or something, right? That could be a couple other people, right? But think about it. Each file will have maybe, let's just call it 1 to 2 borrowers. If it's a purchase loan, you might have 1 to 2 realtors. If it's in New York or attorney states, you're going to have 2 attorneys. Then you're going to have the loan officer, the underwriter, right? Then you might have title company, definitely you're going to have to deal with them. So one file represents probably 9 people that you have to have communication with. And then you have the closing department, 10 people, right?
Okay.
So think about that. If you got 50 fucking files, that could be 500 people that's in your email every single day.
Are you working on commission or salary?
Salary.
Not for me.
Salary with
Not
file
for me.
bonuses. And depending on where you are in the world, you might not even have a great salary. You might be cracking 50,000. In some other parts of the world, you might be cracking 100. Who knows? And depending on how good you are to get through that minutia I just named. So
Yeah.
it really all depends. Again, a loan processor can be more labor intense than actual loan officer. Again, you got, let's just say you're assigned to 5 loan officers as a loan processor, and you got all these freaking people.
Yeah.
Now, don't let you have a top producer or 2 out of those 5 loan officers, because they're going to be like, fuck these little, who cares? I'm top producer, get my shit done. Now you got to cater to them because they divas, male and female. I'm a diva when I need to be. I want my shit done. But I'm different now. I have my own team. But let's not put me in the equation. But this is what you go through, right? So a loan process is a great career. But, yo, if you don't have your shit together, if you don't have time management skills, if you don't have thick-ass skin, if you don't have effective communication, if you don't have those type of, Everything I name as a loan officer, you still need to have as a processor. But the only difference is you're not out here hunting for business.
You're not
That's
doing
really
sales,
the
yeah.
main difference. And then you need to know your product guidelines and stuff like that, because if deals get, you got to restructure deals. If the loan officer's not that strong, you don't want the deal to die because it's people's livelihood. So you got to learn how to restructure deals and everything like that. So it's a lot that comes with it. A loan officer assistant now assists the loan officer and the processor. So same skill sets. Think about it too. The same minutia that the processor is dealing with, think about the loan officer assistant.
Right.
The same 10 people are in every file if it's a purchase. So you got to be able to update everybody, follow up with them, answer emails. It's a lot that goes into this business. So I say all this to say this is not an easy career.
Yeah.
It's not an easy career. Now, can you come in this career and make sick money? Absolutely. Kill it. Make more money than you ever thought you could make without a college degree. 100%. But you're going to work for that money. Think about when we first started filming. 16, 17, whatever year it was.
Mm-hmm.
How many times I told you, Tooks, leave me the hell alone?
I mean,
I'm
you
busy.
still do it. You're doing it right now.
No, but this is a different type of busy though, right? This is not
Yeah.
like
All the time.
this is not like I wouldn't if I was behind the laptop like I was 5 years ago, I couldn't do everything I'm doing right now.
I feel like if you would have understood the value of content, you probably would have took it more serious back then and kind of knew like, all right, well, if I focus on this, then I won't have to be doing what I'm doing. I think it took a while for you to realize that. That's just my personal opinion.
Everything comes in God's timing, not yours.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
It was God's timing for me.
And that was the biggest struggle with me and you is you like understanding the value of content.
It wasn't the matter of value, it was the matter of if I'm managing, and I said the word 50 because that's what we typically manage.
Yeah.
So if I'm managing 500 people, like, what do you want me to do? I don't have time to be on no fucking YouTube. Like, or make a video. What? Get out of here. I got these people blowing up my phone because this deal's going to hell with gasoline drawers on it. I got to figure out how to save this deal. I'm battling with an underwriter. You understand? Underwriters can either be the gift or the curse to you. And through my experience, I'm thankful that I've had so many wonderful underwriters. But you get that one or two underwriter that get your file, you're like, fuck, why she get my file? Or why he get my file? You're like, damn it, I know this guy going or this girl going to butcher my file up, and I'm going to have all these damn things I'm going to need to do to get this damn loan closed. And then even when I submit all of that, they ain't going to like something, and they're going to want me to, they're going to push it back to me, and they're going to want more information.
Why though? What is it? Is it emotions for them or having a bad day?
No, it's not emotions. It's none of that. It's, look, underwriters make approval decisions on behalf of a bank, not a loan officer. Their job is to protect the bank at all costs. Mm-hmm. They're also there to follow the guidelines and any overlays that the bank might have on top of the federal guidelines, right? But it's also when an underwriter reviews something, they have what's called underwriter discretion. Type that in chat, please. Underwriter discretion. Please understand what that is. That means they can review something and use their discretion and say, I don't like this shit. I don't feel comfortable signing off on this because of X. So I need Y to make me feel comfortable. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. When that comes through your email, all you can do is just woosah and say, yo, you butchering my file. What are you doing? I don't need this. Or you go get you some guidelines to back up with your case, and you're going to have to go through it. And sometimes you may have to get the underwriter manager on the phone and say, yo, underwriter manager, yo, such and such over here is butchering this file. They want this, but look at the guidelines and look what I provided. Like, what else you want me to give? This is why you need to know your guidelines too, because sometimes underwriters are wrong. And when you know they're wrong, you can't attack them.
Right.
That's when you have to use your discretion, your discernment and everything like that, because you can't come out there and just try to call them out on their job, because now they're going to be pissed off at you.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you called me out in front of my boss. Like, what are you doing? Okay. 30 conditions on your next file. Right? Although they're not supposed to do that, but it's human
Yeah.
nature. It happens. Right? So you have to know your guidelines. You have to be a guideline goat. You need to understand this. This is all part of not just from a loan officer, from a loan officer assistant, from a processor. You need to know the product, because when things come up in underwriting, you need to be able to maneuver through that. Because you know what, clients and realtors and attorneys don't care. They're gonna just say your bank sucks and you suck, and that's your reputation.
Yeah.
Because there are times things get declined and it shouldn't have been declined. But
Right.
you got to know how to overturn those declinations, right? I take pride in that, like overturning an underwriter's decision when they wanted to decline it, and I gave them what they needed to make them comfortable to approve it. That is like empowering for me,
Yeah.
right? So everybody who's trying to be a loan officer or a loan officer assistant, you got to understand your guidelines. You got to be a guideline goat. You got to know your guidelines as well as an underwriter knows it. And I think this is why our content does so well, because I'm extremely knowledgeable, because I've studied this for decades. Like
Yeah.
literally studying this shit and understanding, like reading guidelines to learn everything that I possibly can, and then applying it into real life, because I always dealt with files that wasn't the most savory, so to speak. So you got to get creative within the guidelines, right? So understanding your guidelines, I think, is probably one of the most important things that a loan officer assistant can do.
Interesting. Very, very. This sounds like a lot. I mean, I don't think I've coming out of high school or anything like that. I probably would never even. I mean, I didn't even know about it, but I probably would not. It's too much. Basically, this is a lot, man.
It's not really.
It's a
It's
lot.
not really too much
Well, for me personally,
for nobody.
because I can't also be sitting at a desk either. And I'm assuming you spent a lot of time at a desk on the phone, like you said, right?
In the beginning, yeah, because that's what my business was built to be, right? My business in the beginning, I like call it like a telephone junkie, right? Like I was on the phone, but I worked at call center type of environments where it's all like, think of Boiler Room. You saw Boiler Room?
I seen Wolf of Wall Street.
Have you seen Boiler Room?
No,
Go watch Boiler Room.
that's the closest thing I can get to like what
Wolf
you
of
were.
Wall Street shows that, but Boiler Room really shows that, because it's basically, yo, you in the shop, Boiler Room style, on the phone, selling people. You know what I'm saying? That's how I came into this industry. Well, Wall Streeters, they taught me the game. They taught me how to be a beast on this telephone. They taught me how
Yeah.
to be a savage. So when you come into this game, you learn that. So that's when I spent most of my time. And in the beginning, was behind the laptop or at a desk every day, all day, was because that's how I was taught. I wasn't building relationships with realtors and shit when I first came in, because I didn't need to, right? Because I had a telephone and I had leads. And that's all I needed was leads. Give me leads. Give me a call sheet. I'm calling everybody 10 times. I'm going to get me a no twice before I cross them off.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times, depending on how that conversation went. Yo, Miss Jackson, it's me again. Like, you have fun with it, right? And I enjoyed it. But when I moved into the, like, yo, do I still, the broke genius, do I still cold call heavily? No. I'm not picking up the phone, call nobody.
But is cold calling still a thing today?
It is to some people.
I always feel like do people even have house phones nowadays?
Cell phones.
Yeah, because I remember that was like people having landlines is like a thing. Haven't seen one in a while.
Yeah, I'm not picking up the phone to call nobody right now.
I'm assuming cold calling is still a thing. It is still effective too, I'm assuming, but most people don't even want to pick up their phone for some random scam likely kind of vibe.
Well, yeah. I mean, scam likely is very, very likely to happen in some situations. But, you know, look, I'm not picking up the phone no more. I'm on the phone because people either, you know, I'm talking to my mentees for the most part, or I'm talking to VIPs. So, and then even with my team, like everything's on a calendar system now. Now people are booking. So my situation changed. I went from Cold calling, I'm just thinking about this. Cold calling every day to now people are either paying me to speak to me or they booking a free consultation or a free appointment with my team,
Yeah.
right? So we have a calendar every single day. There's calls on it. Like whereas before in the past, I've had to be the caller. So that's a blessing. So no, I'm not calling nobody. I'm a relationship builder now. Like I'd rather go out to networking events, be in the field, talk to real estate professionals. That was like the second half of my career,
Yeah.
right? And now I'm probably in the third part of my career where I'm more into like the media aspect and transitioning to the mogul aspect of things, where now I want to like take it to a different level. But yeah, cold calling was a thing for me. And it's still a thing today, but I'm not doing it.
So you said networking events, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like networking events in today's like today is effective, or do you feel like networking events are just parties that people go to now rather than actually networking as a loan officer?
It's both. Work hard, play hard.
But is it like, are you like, are you really gonna like, is there a business happening there,
Well,
or
it depends on you, yo. Look, in life, you have to be extremely intentional about what you're trying to do.
okay,
So if I'm going to a networking event, I'm going to be extremely intentional about why I'm there. Like even for the event today I went to, people were intentional when they came up to me. It's either they had a question for me or they had a business card for me.
okay,
And when they gave me their business card, it was their pitch was on. And I respect that because I used to be that person. And I take their card and I put it in my wallet. And I said, okay, cool. But now, if I just said, okay, cool, I'm not going to say I wasn't impressed.
okay,
But if I didn't say to you, yo, all right, here's my number. Let's connect, reach out. Then you didn't do enough to motivate me to want to do that.
okay. But a lot of times, do you feel like those conversations even happen?
Yes. And I even look at that even for myself now. So when I'm out and about and I'm doing stuff, blah, 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 and I'm talking to people and I'm at networking events, and if they don't say, yo, let me get your number. Let's connect. Let's really build. Then I'm like, fuck. What did I do wrong? Let me go practice this on the next person now. Because my goal is, if I'm here, I need to get some numbers or some business cards, or so when I go networking now, I'm going for different things,
Right.
right? I'm not really going, unless I'm in a straight real estate type of event, I'm not going for real estate deals. I'm going for sponsorships. I'm going to meet the person this. I'm meeting the media people for these things. Like, I'm doing things that can help the other businesses and other brands, right? But if I'm in a networking thing with real estate, it's a little bit easier right now because most of the time the people would know who I am.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier, different for me. But again, networking events is right here. This is, how many people on this? Because I can't see.
I think it's 115.
So we got 115 people here right now. Really think about this. First of all, shout out to all 115 of y'all. Please make sure you like this video and buy some books while you're at it, mgbookstore.com. Thank you very much. But I got 115, yeah, and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, right? So if I got 115 people here, this is my networking event.
Right.
I don't need to go outside.
Right.
So you said something about taking the internet and the content, everything seriously. Well, now I do. And now I have a networking event every single day, whether I'm on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and I'm having effective communication to the people who want to be tapped into me. So now my networking events are kind of different now because I use this as my prospecting tool. See, everything's about prospecting when you're in sales, when you're a loan officer especially. You have to prospect effectively also. Like you can go to a networking event and you can go there and waste your goddamn time. It happens all the time. You know how many networking events that I've been to that I wasted my time? Like, there was no reason for me to be there because I know ain't nothing gonna come out of this. like I collected all these cards, and I really don't really see that any of these people are going to do business with me, or I'm going to do business with them. Because sometimes people just go to networking events just to say, I went to a networking event, and just handing out cards, and when you follow up, it's not even, there's no synergy.
Yeah.
Right? So back in the day, I used to go to networking events with the idea, if I go with this many cards, I need to come back with this many cards to match it. I need to give out everything, and I need to replace it with new cards. And then I used to go out there, and I used to follow up with everybody. But now you may get some things. Again, it's hit or miss, right? You get 20, 30, 40 new cards, you might get 2 or 3 people, 10 to 15% of those things that really now want to take a follow-up call or a follow-up meeting. That might be, if you got 50 cards, you think 10% of that is only 5. So you might walk around with only 7.5 people. If you got 50 new cards at a networking event, really 7 to 10 people are now going to be the people that you have to identify. Yo, they were the hot ones for me.
Yeah.
So those hot ones will be the ones that I will put in a different pile in my wallet. So I have the right side or left side. The right side would be the hot side. The left side would be like, I'm a follow-up side. But the right side I knew was hot, so I need to make sure those are the first people I reach out to, because maybe we had a better conversation, the vibe was there, I felt a good energy, whatever it was, right? So those are the people I need to be hyper-focused on to try to set that next meeting with. But again, it's about being intentional. It's about knowing, yo, when I go out here, I know it's going to be a lot of fluff, but I still got to work through the fluff to get to the real. Because it only takes one to give you a deal, and it makes it all worth your while. But I've been to so many networking events, it wasn't worth my while. It was just, I was there. Now, fast forward to how networking events are done now, it's more of a party. So it's even more difficult. So when I did the networking event in Atlanta, I purposely said, yo, let's keep the music low, because I don't want people yelling over the music to have conversations. And every time we got on the mic, first of all, we said, who's in the building? Realtors, loan officers, da-da-da-da. And I said, yo, everybody need to change cars, meet each other. Don't be with the people you came in here with, this, that, and third. And when I went around and I met everyone, I shook everybody's hands. I thanked them for coming. You see me do this millions of times.
Yeah.
Right? I did all that, and I told them, like, yo, I want you to go out here and promote your brand and your business to everybody in here.
Yeah.
Because you got to be intentional. And sometimes it's about setting the tone. Sometimes these networking events you go to, the tone is party.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool to have the music and the hookahs and all that other shit to catch the vibe, but you still got to be intentional about this, because then why are you here? You're just here for the entertainment aspect of these things, not really the I want to close a deal aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you got to weed that shit out. But you got to be intentional about everything.
Makes sense. I feel like that's for the party vibe is more for people who just want the title of being a loan officer or an agent and not really, grinding it out. So how do you make money as a loan officer? It's obviously commissions, right? But what is that based off of? Obviously how much work you do, but if you're working for different banks, is there something you should look for in terms of how much money you can make, or what your percentage of, what your commission is? Or when you're first starting out, do you even have an option to even, kind of say like, oh, this is what I want as a new loan officer?
Now this is loan business. Hold on. All right. I first want to start this by saying 100% of nothing is nothing.
All right.
100% of nothing is nothing. Don't be coming in this business thinking you deserve the lion's share of any money or commissions or none of this shit. Like, sit down.
Sit your ass down.
No, you don't have no, like, how dare you? 100% of nothing is nothing. So when it comes to your commission plans, your comp plans, you need to understand that first and foremost. You can make more money, and I've seen people that have lower commission splits. Even to this day, I know people who have lower commission splits than even I do right now, and they make a lot more money than me in the mortgage side. It's because they're killing the volume, right? So like I said earlier, if you go to a big bank, they're not going to pay you with what a mortgage broker or a mortgage banker will pay you. But, hey, you might be able to now compete and do jumbo luxury deals where those banks are going to be more competitive than anybody in the space because
Right.
that's what they really want. So they're going to be the ones where you can now sit here if you dealing with a lot of luxury clients and luxury realtors and stuff like that. Now you can do $1 million, $2 million loans every clip. I got one of my guys, man. It's my brother. This dude does like $400 or $500 million a year in business and loan volume because he deals with nothing but the high end.
So when you say these numbers, I always notice that too, is when you talk about how much money people do in a year, how much of that is
Commission. So it depends on your comp plan, right? So all right, let me break down how the mortgage comp plan works so you guys understand. We get paid in basis points.
Okay.
Right? So, or BIPs, BPS. So BIPs is short, BPS is short for basis points.
Right.
Right? So a point is basically 1% of a loan amount.
We did a video on this. It was kind of, yeah.
So 100 basis points is basically a point.
Okay.
Right? So some bigger banks they pay you on tiers. Right? So a lot of the big banks, which I hate, they'll pay you on tiers. If you do 0 to 500,000 in commission, you get paid one thing. If you go to 500 to a million, you get paid another thing. If you get million to 1.5, 1.5 to 2, 2.5 to this, and you top out, your top tier is at 2.5 or 3 million and above.
Okay.
Right? And then they say, okay, if you do a loan over 1.5 million, you're capped out. You won't get paid on the loan amount. So you can do a $3 million loan, but they only pay you on the 1.5 million. They're not going to pay you on the 3 million, right? Because they might say your commission is capped at 20,000 max you can make on one deal.
Right.
15,000, 20,000, which is bullshit too, right? So for me, I don't like the tier system. I understand it because it makes you want to work harder. So you might start off at a lower tier at like 30 basis points. You may top out at 80 basis points.
Right.
At the top tier. So every month, like when I was working at Chase, that was the thing. I need to be at top tier because if I'm doing $1 million, if I'm only making 40 basis points, that's only $4,000 on that million. I'm not making no money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if I do 2.5 million and I'm making 80 basis points, you know what I'm saying? I'm making what? What's that? 16, 20 grand? That's I just did the math on my head. About $20,000+ you can make if you at top tier. So this is where I want to be. I gotta be at the top tier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But with the banks, when they do the tier system, it encourages you, the loan officer, you gotta keep putting in loans and keep closing because you never want to be at the bottom.
Right.
Because if you're at the bottom, you're gonna make less money. The bank is still gonna make what they're gonna make regardless, but you're gonna make less money. Now, when you're working for mortgage bankers and mortgage brokers, it'll be more flat basis points, right? Your comp plan might be 100 basis points or 150 basis points or 200 basis points, just depending on who you work for.
Right.
And then, again, if you're doing $2 million and you're making, 1 point, that might be 20,000. If you're making 2 points off that deal, you might make 40,000 off that $2 million. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on where you are. But I mean, if you're making a 200 basis point commission plan, that's very high for the market. So you're going to be selling terrible rates because all of this stuff, all the commissions or your basis points is built into the interest rates that you're selling too.
Okay.
So if you got a higher commission split, then you're going to be selling much higher
rates.
interest rates to the market, right?
Which is probably harder to sell to people because
especially in today's market when the rates are skyrocketing. It's easy to sell when your rates are in the twos. So even if you're 0.25% higher than the market, you're still probably below 3.
Yeah.
So you can still, if you're a good salesperson, you still can get that deal sold and make a shitload of money.
Right.
We're doing it.
Volume-wise, basically.
Volume-wise. So you got to think about it. If you're doing $10 million a month, you got a 200 basis points comp plan. What's that? 10 million a month times 200. What's that? 400,000 in a month.
Yeah, that's if though. That's
if.
Yeah, that's good money.
It's great money.
That's not bad. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you just make $4-point-something million a year. This is okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all right.
Oh, man.
So what type of money you can make, honestly, it really depends on you. Because, again, I know people who work at big banks that do them tap out at 80%, 85% basis points, and they might make $2-3 million a year because they're doing sick volume. But I also know people on my side of the world that we don't have to do that much volume to make that same type of money.
Right.
So it just depends on where you are, right? I think when you're working for like a big bank, and I know people who've been big banks for 10, 20 years, you know, they got the security of the brand, the bank, they may have better benefits, stuff like that, and they making sick money, they're happy. But for me, for mine, and I've worked in the big bank structure for years, like, I use it as me getting my PhD in mortgages. I wanted to learn about the business, the structure, and I wanted to learn the business aspect, and they taught me that, what I needed to learn. But for me, I always wanted to run my own shit and kind of run my own division so I can make the lion's share of the money and not sit here have to bust my ass and close all these damn loans to make a great income, you know? So how much money you make, honestly, really is dependent on you, your comp plan, and your book of business, honestly, because if you're dealing with the luxury A-paper type clients, it's going to be hard to really make money on those deals because you got to compete with the big banks.
Right.
So you ain't going to make no money off of that.
Yeah.
Because the big banks could drop their drawers all day long because they want that big volume because those people have bigger checkings and savings accounts and they're going to offer them things by rolling them money over, stuff like that. So that's why I don't even play in the luxury field. I'm not competitive there. I don't even want that business.
Yeah.
If you get declined, come to me. If not, then it's no reason for you to even start with me. Go with this person. Unless you're doing like more of like a non-QM deal because, you know, like bank statement loans, asset-based, you know, LLC type financing because the big banks won't touch that. You know, so when I do my luxury deals, all my luxury deals right now are those type of loans, non-traditional loans. But, you know, if I'm doing FHA, regular conventional loans, I can compete all day with the big banks. But I'll make more money off that deal working in the environment that I'm in versus working at a big bank.
Right.
And I have my freedom,
Right.
which is way more important to me than me, you know, having somebody else's brand when I can just build my own.
So is any of this money residual? Like,
No,
none of it.
you eat what you kill, bro.
Okay. So
I'm unemployed every day.
fair enough. So,
But that's as an entrepreneur too,
right.
right?
Right.
As an entrepreneur, you don't have no business today. It's nothing residual. It's you go out there, you kill it, you eat. I'm a hunter. I'm a wild African dog. I'm a lion. I'm a hyena. I'm a predator. I'm out here looking every single day for a meal to eat. Literally, every day I wake up with a hunter's mentality of like, yo, what plays can I run today to make some money? How can I make some money today, right? Where is the money coming from? Who is my client who is my customer? Period. I need to eat every day. And I'm not ashamed of promoting my brands. I'm not ashamed of saying, yo, go to MG Bookstore right now and pick up my book or come to my webinar or come to this. I'm not ashamed of my business, right? Because when I look at my text messages or my emails, I see all the places that I like to shop. Fendi keeps hitting me up all day long about their spring collection. Every day, all day long. Leave me the fuck alone, right? My kids like Fashion Nova. I can't tell you how many times these people text me or email me about some Fashion Nova sale, right? Macy's, Models hits me up all the time. I thought they closed and went out of business.
Yeah, maybe they moved to online.
I don't know, but they keep texting and sending me sales and coupons. Macy's is another one, right? These brands and businesses do not care about how often they are promoting themselves to get their businesses. So they are predators. They are hunters. They are out here looking for the kill. The kill is the consumer, unfortunately, right? So we have to go out here and treat that shit the same way. I'm going to promote my brands and my businesses every single day on this internet. Everything that this free internet this is my advertising opportunities. Because if I got, how many people in here right now?
127.
127. If it's 127 people on this right now, and if there's 20,000 people that's going to wind up watching this in the next week, this is an opportunity for me to have my products of people who might not know who I am in their face all day long. And I understand that my product, if you're on this channel, is going to solve your problems, right? In order for you to be a good salesperson, in order for you to be a good loan officer, this all ties into it, right? You got to be marketing and branding yourself every single day. So if you're not out here, if you're a loan officer, if you're not out here marketing and branding your abilities to close deals, to get deals done, to educate the community, right? You're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. I'm personally doing myself a tremendous disservice on the mortgage end because I don't even talk about applying with me like that and stuff like that. I may say if you learn from me, I want you to work with me, but honestly, on the Garland Mortgage Group page, I need to be 10 toes down in there every day, putting out content, being a salesperson. Actually, I'm going to start doing this shit starting tomorrow. Just quick stories like, yo, look, da 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 da, blah, blah, blah. Put it on my page, book your appointments, and let's just let it run up. Because there's no reason why I'm not. You have to, your success has to be annoying. Neo said that. Yes, and when he said that to me, I said, damn, Macy's is annoying. Fashion Nova's damn sure annoying.
Yeah,
all these people
man.
are fucking annoying as
Emails
hell.
be crazy.
Insane.
Crazy. I never give my number anymore. That's how bad it is.
It's terrible. I give them a fake number now. I give them the burner phone number now because I know I'm never going to get that text message. But it's like, yo. But what happens from time to time? You click on it and you buy something.
Yeah.
I brought this Mitchell & Ness jersey a couple months ago. Know why? Because they sent me a text. They had a sale. I said, oh. I needed a jersey. It was coming around Super Bowl time. I wanted to buy 4 jerseys of some of my favorite people. I'm like, oh, it's a sale. I'm getting like 30, 40% off. I might as well buy, right? The success was so annoying, but I'm still spending money with them. So this is why I always tell you mgbookstore.com, investfest.com, EYLuniversity.com, because, yo, applywithmg.com, like, it has to be annoying. I have to be out here selling my businesses and my brands every single day. And when you're in a loan officer role, if you're not educating every day, if you're not putting out content every day, like I was having this conversation earlier today at House Show, like, yo, you have to be putting your shit out there. Because if not, who knows you?
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares.
Especially in this world.
Yeah.
Information comes so quick, they forget about you, bro.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Somebody said to me today, they was like, yo, your content everywhere, MG. Are you filming every day? No, I'm not. But we're doing 2-hour-long shit like this where we can chop and screw up so many different clips from it. It's going to make it seem like I'm filming every single day, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a system. And again, that comes down, and you always like to say, well, it ain't structured, but the world looks at it as it's structured. Could it be tighter? Yes, pause. Right? But
you always bring up this structure thing, man.
because it boils up to everything, because what you might not think is structure on your end, but the people looking outside don't see it like you see it. And that's the most important, is the end user to all of this shit, right? The end user has to feel like it is structured. The end user has to feel like it is helping them. The end user has to feel like whatever the problem is, you have the solution for their problem.
I agree with that, but I just still feel like there's a sense of settling, and I always try to achieve to do more and overachieve. So I feel like if you're content with that, then it's like, okay, this is where we're at. It's working. Cool. That's not enough for me. So for me, it's to overachieve and always, go above and beyond, rather than just being content with what's working right now. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah. So I don't think it's a problem with overachieving. And look, we all have to overachieve in our life, because I agree with that. But sometimes you just have to just go out there and do whatever you gotta do.
If you're not executing, in that sense, I agree.
Yeah, because a lot of people ain't executing.
Problem. Right? They're getting caught up in the idea of wanting to do things, but they're not actually doing them. So I agree with that.
Yeah, it's like even when how many times people ask me how to be a loan officer and that, and then I'm like, did you ever do it? No.
That happens all the time.
I met somebody in Toronto, real talk, and he's an earner. I can't remember his name, and I'm not trying to shit on him or nothing. But, he was telling me he did a wholesale deal. He made some money. Then he was studying to be his real estate license. I said, okay, all this sounds great, blah, blah, blah. Then I asked him, like, how long ago was that wholesale deal? It was like 4 years ago. I said, okay, so you stopped something that was working because you got in your head and you stopped it. But then you say you wanted to get more knowledge and you wanted to get your real estate license. I said, when did you start that? He was like, 3 years ago. I said, are you licensed? He said, no. So what are we talking about then? Like, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what are you waiting for? Like, so all my people who are watching this live now or on the replay, if you want to get in the business, it's 20 hours of your life.
Yeah. Just
Take the test. Take the class, pass the test, then go pass the safe test, study, dedicate an hour to every day to take some practice tests, retain the information, write your notes, go take your test, and then go find you somewhere to go work and go print some money. So how much money you can make is endless.
right.
It's literally endless, bro. Like, the money, look, and I don't talk about how much money I make and shit like that. I'm not doing that. Streets is always watching. I don't talk about how much money I make. When have you ever heard me say a number?
I didn't say anything. I just made
But
a
you're
face.
making a face.
Oh, because I'm curious to see if you're actually gonna say something that we've never
that
heard
was that
before.
face?
Yeah, that's like, you about to?
No, I'm never going to tell you
okay.
how much money I make because it's irrelevant. What I make
Okay.
is not what you're going to make.
Yeah.
Like, and like, what somebody makes doesn't motivate me.
It used to.
It never motivated me. It pissed me off.
Really?
Because I'm like, this nigga's a clown. How he make this money?
I was not expecting that.
Because I feel like,
I thought you was gonna say because I don't. Nah, I didn't know you was gonna go that route. Okay.
yeah.
Yo.
I'm like, yo, how this clown making this money and I'm not? Like, fuck out of here. What am I doing, man?
Go back to the drawing board.
Fuck out of here. Like, how? God, what's happening? Why you let the clowns make all the money?
Yo, this guy.
Why not me?
Bro.
Yeah, I'd be having that conversation with God too. Like, God, why am I not making 50 M's yet, bro? Like, what are we doing? But
Yeah.
it don't motivate me, right? It don't, because I'm not counting nobody's pocket.
Facts.
Because what you eat don't make me shit.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
What you eat don't make me shit, period. So what I care what you make or how much money you have or how many doors you have. That's why when people ask, how many doors you got? Nigga, how many you got? None? So why you asking me?
Yeah.
You got one? Why you asking me for? What difference does it make to you? It's not going to help you with what you got to do with your life.
Right.
So how much money that I make is irrelevant. It's how much money can you make, right? Because if I told you I make $7 million a year, what difference does it make? You're either going to say, oh, that's great, I want to do it too, or, oh, you flexing, right?
You flexing.
No, seriously, they're going to say, oh, I want to do it too, or, oh, you flexing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Or it's like, oh, I don't believe you. Nigga, why would I lie to you? Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying I make $7 million a year.
No, I'm just saying people lie all the time though.
Yeah, I'm not making $7 million a year. I'm not making $7 million a year. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you I am.
You're making 20.
God, from your mouth to God's ears. So
Do you have a net worth on Google?
Do I have a net worth on Google?
When you type your name in? I wonder if it has a net worth.
Nah,
No?
I did that like 6 months ago, 8 months ago. Because my kids be trying to look up shit. I'm like, nah, chill.
Interesting.
Nah, but it's no net worth out there. But I'm
Okay.
I'm worth a couple M's, right? But like that don't mean nothing either,
Yeah.
right? The main thing is, can you make money in this business? Absolutely. Can you make 6 figures in this business? Yes. Can you make $500,000 a year in this business? Yes. Can you make $1 million as a loan officer? Yes. Can you make $2 million as a loan officer? Yes. Can you make $5 million as a loan officer? Absolutely. Can you make $10 million as a loan officer? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no limit to how much money you can make. The limit is all in here. Like, honestly, and I'm going to keep it real with all y'all. If I was super tapped into the old Matthew Garland,
Yeah.
that Matt G home loans guy, I would be crushing it right now. Crushing it right now. Probably making 7 M's plus right now with all the influence and everything that I got going on right now. What? And for the life of me, I just can't do it no more. I don't know.
it's hard to like get back into something when you stop. Like when you
Very hard.
when you had momentum and then, it's just that's something I'm struggling with now too, but I mean, I don't know. I have yet to find a solution for that because I don't think you'll ever go back to that, unfortunately. I don't know if it's a comfort thing, but it's definitely tough. It's actually harder to go back than actually starting, I feel. Because when you're starting, you're like fresh, you have certain goals in mind, but once you stop and you have momentum, it's like I don't even know. Nothing compares to that, I feel like. So we did have that conversation before about you going back to the old MG, but I don't see it happening.
It's very
At all.
difficult. Like, it's very difficult for me to go back to that person.
Yeah, I think it's done. I think it's done.
I think
I
it's
think
done
it's
too.
done.
I think it's done too. Right? I think, personally, I think it's done. Somebody said, what? And you need a mental break? Okay. I think it's done. I don't think it's done, but I think it's done. But I don't think it's done.
I think once you find a way to do the same volume or more through this, then you'll have momentum. But just
I
not
can do
as-
a lot of volume through this if I really put my mind to this shit. Like, and I might put my mind to this one of these days coming very soon because I got
one of these days coming
one
very
of these
soon.
days coming soon. I might figure out how to really tap back in because I'm getting back. See, I've been operating for the past, what year is this? 23? I'll say 2.5 years now of just kind of like being the face and not being like behind the laptop. So I've been like slowly but surely getting back into the behind the laptop activities a little bit, not a lot. And I actually like it. It's actually been fun.
It's fun for now, but
Yeah, it's fun for now. It's fun for now.
so I'm not saying you're. It's not that you won't get back into it, but not the way you were before. Because of all the things that all the moving parts you have, all the other businesses you have now, it's just unless you start hiring people to manage everything. But
Well, that's even difficult too.
yeah, another challenge.
Everything in life is a challenge, man. You gotta pick your poison and shit, really, man.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter how you go about this, how you do it. You gotta really figure out, like, yo, what do you need in your business, and who do you need in your business, and then you gotta really be diligent on hiring, and then firing quick, and then rehiring again, because good help is so difficult, and you gotta get rid of people quick. You gotta bring them on faster. And it's just like a pipeline of people. And that takes time and energy and effort. You run a true business, right? And me being in that side of the mortgage business, I don't know if I really want to do that side of the mortgage business. So I'm working on a few things that I might announce in a few months that if it goes the way I need, I might bring on some partners and stuff like that. So like now, what I've realized is like, yeah, I personally can get to probably $10 million a year, $20 million a year in the mortgage business, right? But I now have to work 10 times smarter and really be smart. So now I might have to bring in partners, so to speak, that are operational, that are behind the laptop 100%. And now we use my brand, what I'm doing, the operational skill sets, what the partners will bring into.
Yeah.
And then now it turns into a machine where I had put people in places to really make sure things go.
I get where you're going with that. I feel like most people who are wealthy have partnerships
On
more so than
everything.
100%. Like it's not
everything.
about taking 100% profit with things. It's just like
No,
being
100% of nothing is
Yeah.
nothing. I said this earlier today, right? So if I have an opportunity, and this is real talk, if I got 150, 200 people watching these lives, sometimes we be having almost 500 people watching these lives. And if I'm strategic about this, the same way I pump my books and I do all this other stuff, like it's the same way I could pump the mortgage brand and pump that, and I could funnel things. But I don't go crazy with it because I understand service is important too. So I want to make sure whoever's coming into my system right now, you get service to the highest levels. And things happen in it, and I got to jump in and help with the servicing issues and stuff like that. But if I want to explode it, you got to have the right team around you.
Right.
You got to have the right leadership around you. And so for me, what I'm looking to do in my career, and chapter 3 of my mortgage career, or going into my 3rd decade of this, right, is like, yo, now I need to think about really being in the CEO chair and not being in that origination chair, right? That's where I need to weed myself out of, because there's no reason, well, there's a reason, but I need to go more CEO MG now. So one of the things we were going to discuss in terms of career movement in your loan officer is, you be a loan officer, you build up your team, loan officer assistants, sales assistants, things of that nature. Then eventually you want to get a branch. You get your own branch. Now you get in more of the lion's share of the commissions, depending on your split with the company and everything like that. And you're really building a business within a business, right? And then from there, you go into either being division managers, where you can hire multiple different locations and states and stuff like that. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Divisional manager, where I get the lion's share of everything.
Yeah.
And then you go into like ownership, really, right? Ownership or executive leadership, and you grow from there. So like right now in my career, my stage right now is more so I want to get into the ownership aspect of things, and I don't want to be in the minutia of the ownership either. I want to be at the things from the highest levels possible, but I don't want to be there running the day-to-day
Right.
of it. I want to be more of the face, the brand, the lead generate, to rainmake, to build the relationships, build on big accounts, stuff like that. But I don't want to be the guy that has to, now I got to be the one pre-approving you. I got to be the one calling you about your loan update and stuff like that. Like, that's the type of stuff that kind of turns me off right now, because I just don't want to do that no more. And actually doing stuff like this and being able to travel, see the world, put out content, put out books, meet different people, that's where it made me realize, like, all right, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna stay in this business, I gotta stay in it, and I gotta do it the way I want to do it. So right now I'm working on a few things that will take me to the next level. And if they go through, great, it'll be amazing. If it don't go through, then I gotta figure out, all right, how do I do this? And now build the way I really want to build it. And then now it will go to a whole nother level. So I say all this to say the income opportunities as a loan officer is endless, man. And I would recommend anybody get into this business and think about the long-term plays. Don't try to rush from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Take your time. Go through your motions, because I've seen so many people come into this business and want to get into ownership right away, or get into like high-level branch managership, and then they want to hire all these people and they crash and burn because they just didn't have the foundation that they needed. You know what I'm saying? To really make things happen the right way.
So do you offer mentorship?
Yes, I do.
How do we get access to this?
Join the bookstore, join the community. It's going up Saturday morning, so join it now for $297 annually. And I'm only offering mentorship to the people who are directly a part of my communities. I'm not offering, if you're not part of my communities, I'm not offering you no mentorship, because I don't want to waste my time with you.
Mentorship in terms of like being a loan officer?
Yeah, loan officer, realtor. I have investors that are my mentees. Like, I have a small mentorship group right now. I probably have like 30, 35 people in there, right? And there's various different people in there. There's investors in there. There's first-time home buyers in there. There's real estate licensed professionals in there. And these people, it's customized. It's not a program,
Right.
It's custom tailored to what you need, right? Because I feel like sometimes these mentorship programs just be programs people put together and don't really help the people.
Yeah.
Because I speak to people all the time about, oh, I joined this program and I paid $25,000 and I wasted my money. Because they had a program. Damn. It wasn't something that you wanted. It was something, it was like you go to school.
Yeah.
Right? They got a curriculum already based for you. But that don't mean that's what you want to learn. Yeah. But I'm paying all this money. So why am I learning some shit that's not going to help me?
Damn.
So with my mentorship thing is more so like, what do you want? Like, what are the first one that people sign up? Like, why did you sign up? What do you want to gain out of this? What is your purpose? What are your expectations? And then from there, I'm going to tell you, well, I think your expectations is too crazy, and I don't think I can help you. So I'm gonna just refund you your $3,000 or $5,000 back, because I don't want no parts of that, right? Because I know I can't help you. So why waste your time? I'm not gonna keep your money. I'm not gonna fake the jacks. Just take your money back, and
Yeah.
I can't help you, right? Or if it's something I can help you, like, all right, this is what I think the expectations need to be, and this is what we're gonna do. Tell me everything you need to tell me, and I'll help you to the best of my ability. And it doesn't mean you're going to get rich. It doesn't mean you're going to buy all the real estate in the world, right? Because even if you have a mentor, you as the mentee still have to put in the work. You as a mentee, you still have to have your own capital. You still have to have your credit right. You have to be disciplined for whatever you're trying to do. It's like if you have a trainer, if you don't follow the trainer, when you're not with them, you don't follow their leadership, then the trainer's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Well said. Well, we've been on here for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Jesus.
But I think you pretty much covered all the everything. Yeah, I didn't even really have to ask the last couple questions because you kind of covered them. And there were some chats. There were some comments in the chat about is 55 bips low for new MLO starting out for a brokerage that offers support and training.
Say that again.
Is 55 bips low for a new MLO?
No, because 100% of nothing is nothing.
Right.
You just say you're a new MLO, and you ask me if 55 basis points is low. Okay. Is 0 low? Right? Is 0 low? Because right now you got 0.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, 55 basis points, no, it's not too low, because you haven't closed a deal yet. And even if you close a deal or two, who cares? You still know. So is it low? No. I think it's right where you need to be. And make your money. You got to look at, and even in situations like that, every $1 million is $5,500 you make in commission at 55 basis points, right? So you got to ask yourself, if I want to make $20,000 a month, how much loans do I need to sell and close every month? Type in chat. Math lesson. If I'm making 55 basis points commission and I want to make $20,000 a month, how much in loan volume do I need to sell or close every single month?
Well, I guess I'll wait for the chat.
Bro, it's not hard, bro.
No.
If I just said every million was $5,500, right?
Yeah. Well, it'd be less than 4 million.
It'd be less than 4 million, probably like 3.8, 3.7. So 5,500 times 3.7.
Right.
Yeah, that's like 20,000. So I got to close $3.7 million. What I said? Yeah, 3.7 million in loan volume every single month to make that. So, like, that's how I look at shit when I'm trying to make money. It's like I reverse engineer everything. Like, if I want to make $100,000 a month, how much do I have to close to make 100,000? Like, if you at a point or 100 basis point commission, 10 million will give you 100,000. Right? So, okay, what's my average loan amount to get to 10 million? Right? If I got a $400,000 average loan amount, okay, 10 loans is 4 million, 20 loans is 8 million. So what I need, 25, 27 closings every single month. So that means I need to be putting in 35 loans a month.
What's the most you've closed in a month in your career as a loan officer?
How much money did I make in a month, or
how many deals did you close in a month?
Loan volume or units? Two different things.
I see. That, I mean, I don't know. What would be the difference?
It's a big difference, because I can close $10 million worth of loans, but it could be 3 loans. You see
Units.
It could be 3 units. Units equal loans, right? So I can close 10 million, but if I'm doing $3 million loans for each loan.
I thought you were asking the difference between the two. No, so what about deals?
So to answer your question, the most deals I probably ever closed was over 30 in a month.
Over 30, okay.
Yeah, over 30 in a month. Over $10 million. I'm lying. Over like 13 million.
13 million.
13 plus. A little bit over that, but I'm just going to say 13 plus.
Did you feel like you were doing a lot of work?
Yes and no.
When was this? This is back before you were licensed?
No, this was during the pandemic years. This is probably like
Oh, recently.
recently. Yeah, because it was crazy. Rates and tools. You go
Yeah.
crazy.
Damn.
Right? So, yeah.
Wow.
But you got to look at it. That's a lot of fucking money. So I won't tell you how much. I've made more in a month than I did that month.
That was Flagstar days, though.
No, this wasn't Flagstar days. I mean, I've had several 25, 30 plus, 30, 25 to 30 in that range.
Mm-hmm.
I had several of those in my career. I had several 20 plus, like on average, like, you know what I'm saying? But like I'm talking about when you really talking about like knocking out of the park, yeah. But
Busy,
you're
busy.
doing $13, $14 million a month in business, like
That's
it's a nice piece of change.
a nice piece of change.
Yeah, it's a great living. It's a great living.
This guy over here.
It's a great living. It's a great living. Now you got me thinking like, shit, maybe I need to be focusing on loans right now. Fuck these books. ApplyWithMG.com, y'all. ApplyWithMG.com. Let's go, yo. I am here to service you, okay? I'm here and ready to be on your team, MG. LO in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. You know what? Yvonne Sunday, let's talk, because those are states that don't need a brick and mortar. So, yes, I'm ready for you to be on my team. DM me right now, MG the Mortgage Guy, on my Instagram page. DM me right now. Tell me you're Yvonne Sunday from YouTube, and let's talk. All loan officers, let's talk. But now I'm thinking about these numbers like, damn, wait a minute, hold on. Why am I not doing loans?
I don't know, bro, because you want to be superstar MG.
Nah, I'm about to cancel the Superstar MG and get off of YouTube and just focus on loans.
How do you become a loan officer? Well, you have to watch the playback.
Yeah, you gotta watch the replay. I'm not repeating that.
We just did a whole video. But you said you just joined. Appreciate the super chat. So, yeah, we've been on here for about an hour and 51 minutes. So we covered pretty much all the avenues.
Yeah, you can make a lot of fucking money as a loan officer. I'm actually doing the math on some of the monies that I made now. Yeah, I remember one deal, right? I'll tell you one deal that I made on one deal, right? So this is one deal. This was during the Wild Cowboy days. So I was dealing with this client. He was based in Jersey. He was a doctor. And he didn't really know what he was doing, but he kept on getting declined. Everywhere he's going, he's getting declined. This had to be at this time like $1.7 million loan, some shit like that. It was like a $2.8 million crib in Jersey. But the dude, as far doctors, what I found out in my career, that some doctors don't have the best financial management skills because they're always in the hospital. So if they don't have people paying their bills for them, they don't pay their bills on time. And I found this out through several doctors that I work with.
Oh, I was gonna say how, but that makes sense because they're always working.
They're always working, or they're in surgery,
Long shifts,
especially like
yeah.
you got these surgeons and these ER doctors and stuff like that. They're in the hospital. They live there, bro.
Yeah.
They don't come out to breathe. And if they don't have someone at home, a wife or someone like that, taking care of their finances, they tend to fall behind on their bills. Not purposely, but remember, this is 2004 and 2005, before there was auto pays and all this other stuff, right? So we're talking about a different time. So this one particular client was a doctor, got declined through Mad Banks. So I don't know how he got to me. Somehow he got to me. And at this point in time, he was semi-desperate because he needed to pull out like a large sum of money. I think like $500,000-$600,000. He was trying to do something. He had all this equity. So it was like a $1.7, $1.8 million loan I did. I wound up making a lot of money on that deal, like a lot on the money, because at that time the program, and I got him a good deal. It's not like I banged him out, but the program that I was able to put him, the bank I went to had a special.
Mm-hmm.
So they was paying an extra like 2 points on top of what we would normally make. So I think this deal at this time made like 5-6 points on this deal, on like 1.7, 1.8 million. So you gotta think about, right? I think it was like 5 points on this deal. Let me see, 1.8 million. I'll tell you the numbers right now. Yep. 90,000.
In one deal,
Yeah.
not including the other deals you were doing that month also.
Nope.
90 bands.
Yeah. That was good.
And so you were pretty young.
Yeah.
90 bands in one deal?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Back then, man.
I went crazy.
Yeah. I was about to say, you could probably walk into a dealership.
I went crazy.
Yeah.
I went crazy.
That's wild. Definitely walk into a dealership type vibes.
Yeah, that was walking to the club and buy out the bar vibes. That was like, I'm going shopping vibes. That was like every vibes that I wanted to have, I curated them, right? So like that deal was one of those special deals. It was like, damn, yo. And at this time, again, I was getting a lion's share at the company that I worked for too. So I probably walked off like, what, 80,000 on that deal.
What about taxes and stuff like that when it comes to this stuff? I don't think I mentioned that. I don't know
Yeah,
ask that.
I mean, if you get paid 1099, it's the same thing like independent contractor.
Okay.
But this, I was getting paid 1099 at that time, so I got a full check.
Right.
So, but that month, because I had like another 7, 8 deals closed that month.
Yeah.
On top of that, and all those deals was like a good 2 to 3 points each. So that month was like a very fucking good month. That was a 6-figure month.
So you could have just bought a house.
Yeah.
Easily. Back then. Man. So you get caught up in those numbers and you're like, oh, I want to do it. And then you're like, nah,
But that's why I tell you, that was...
Not me, I'm just saying.
I mean, I've had plenty of 6-figure months, thank God, in my career, right? But like, and that wasn't a brag. That's just being honest. But it doesn't matter what happened 15 years ago. It doesn't even happen what happened last month in this business. You're only good as your last month.
Right.
Once April is over, I don't give a fuck about April. It doesn't matter. I'm unemployed.
Right.
I gotta close. If I don't close, I don't make money. So now I'm looking at May. Right now, April's been over to me. April's over on the 20th to me. Every month, the month is over. Because now it's about where do we go for May?
Yeah.
You see, sign me up. 90K on the deal, sign me up. But see, that's why I don't like talking about money.
Nah, he said Tukes is thinking of switching careers.
But like, you can't look at the money, because the money is great. Like, I'm not gonna hold you up. Like, if you making, like I said, the money is. Hold on, Tony Thomas. Okay, she threw her NMLS number, license in Minnesota, Texas, Florida, Illinois, and what's that? What's WI?
Wisconsin, I think.
Okay, she was a DEFHA underwriter for 16 plus years, was nominated one of the top lenders for the Minnesota, is that? M&A DPA loans. Help me be great. Tony Thomas, your license in Minnesota. Where are you based out of? Are you based out of Texas, Florida, Illinois? Because if you're based out of one of those 3 states, maybe you can come work with me too.
Networking. This is probably the most networking I've seen in a while.
All right, so all my loan officers, are you based out of Minnesota? Shit, I can't help you. We're not licensed there. Tragedy. I was about to say, come work with me. But you're based in Minnesota, Tony, so I can't help you. All right, any loan officers you want to work with me, just DM me on Instagram. Come join the team. You willing to move to Texas? Well, if you move to Texas, come join the team. I love to have an underwriter, so someone with FHA underwriting experience for 16 years. Let's do it. Matt, you have another class at 8 p.m.
Today?
I actually do. Tell them I'll be on in 5 minutes.
Damn, you gonna be in this? You gonna be here?
I gotta go.
He said, I gotta go.
Matt, you have another class. How do you know this, Angela? You an earner?
She waiting.
She probably in EYL University.
Oh,
She said Superior Average Facts. I'm waiting over there too. Damn, y'all on it. The earners. Jumping on in 5 minutes.
5.
All right, I'm coming on in 5 minutes. Shout out to all my earners. Big earners are in the building. EYL gang. All right, I think we can wrap this up though.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
It's been 2 hours. Long story short, man, if you want to get in real estate, go get your license. It can't hurt you. It can only help you. This is one of the best careers and best decisions that I ever made. If I didn't get into this business, I don't know where I would be in my life right now. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys for damn sure, right? So get into the business, man. I encourage everybody. It's not easy. Don't look at the money people make. Yes, I know I just told you a story how I made $80,000, $90,000 on one deal. Like, that's not normal. It doesn't happen on a regular basis. I know I told you I've made six figures several times in a month in my career. That doesn't happen often. It is not normal. Can you come in here and make a six-figure income? Yes, you can make $100,000 to $200,000 a year consistently every single year. Can you make $300,000 to $400,000 every single year consistently? Yes. Once you start getting above that 400 or 500, you become elite. Can you be elite every single year? Absolutely, you can. So I would highly, but the average loan officer in the country probably makes $45,000 to $50,000 a year, right? So I don't want that to go over nobody's head either. The average loan officer makes $40,000 to $50,000 a year because 20% of the loan officers are doing 80% of the business. 80% of the people that are licensed ain't doing shit. So let that be clear with y'all. I don't want you guys to sit here and say, I don't want you to get your hopes high. I'm on a different breed. I'm on a different level now, but I had to work to get where I'm at right now. This did not come easy. There were times I've struggled a lot. There was times I had to live paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else, right? There was bad years, there was great years, and there was even greater years, right? But don't let this shit fool you. You can have a consistent career being a licensed loan officer. You can make great money, and most importantly, you have your fingerprint on the DNA, the generational wealth of an entire community, especially if you're working with black and brown folks. So don't let that go over your head too. Being a loan officer, your fingerprint is on people building wealth. And there's nothing greater than that. Look, I'm about to get off on this and go into a call with EYL University, breaking down the home buyer's blueprint. Like, look at the work that I'm doing right now, right? That is my fingerprint. They're in the comments right now saying you got another class. Like, come on, get off this and come over here, right? Like, my fingerprint is on a movement of people right now that are tapped in to buy real estate. Think about how, and I'm a loan officer. I'm not an influencer. I'm a loan officer. That's powerful. That's the most powerful thing ever. And I never realized that. Like, look at Al said, I bought several houses after learning from you on EYL, right? Think about that. That is fire. That is fire. So no amount of money can top what Al just said.
Yeah.
He's purchased several homes because of learning from you on EYL. I can make $100,000 a month. That was worth more than me making $100,000 a month. Because who knows if Al would have been able to do that in an efficient manner if he wasn't tapped into this entire movement. And this is why, before I get off, I want to shout out Troy and Rashad, right? They made the cover of Black Enterprise. Think about this, right? They made the cover of fucking Black Enterprise. Like, really think about that, y'all. Black Enterprise. They made the cover. This is not no paid advertisement or nothing like that where you see people in magazines, they paying for it. No, this is Black Enterprise. Put them on the cover talking about they're the leaders of a financial revolution. Think about that, yo. It's unmatched, yo. So me being a licensed professional tapped me into an ecosystem. Now being able to spread my intellectual property to millions of people, to be able to now have my fingerprint on a generational wealth. Like somebody said in the comments, like, yo, why MG not on the cover with y'all? If my bros are on there, I'm on the cover. The bigger, and you've heard me say this millions of times, behind the scenes, the bigger Earn Your Leisure gets, the bigger I get. Because my fingerprints are all over this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if they keep ascending to these heights, guess who goes with them? Everybody who's affiliated, who's doing right. Right? Everybody who's not out here scamming, who's actually out here doing some real shit to help people. to make them win. Everybody who's watching this right now, who's executing, Troy and Rashad wins, that cover is everybody's win on here right now, bro. Because they're just like us.
Yeah.
They just became the faces of it, which is so dope. But if they win, we win, yo. And if we win, then y'all win. And then we all win. Because now that wealth gap will get shorter and shorter, smaller, 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 smaller. It's going to close eventually. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Like, so shout out to Troy and Rashad. Shout out to the whole EYL University. That's all I got. I got to get on this call for real, though.
All right.
Go to mgbookstore.com. With that being said, go to mgbookstore.com. Pick up your books. House Hackonomics, the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. You know we got the 10-week curriculum coming up with the Real Estate Investors Manifesto. Today and tomorrow, Friday at midnight, the price is going up from $97. Pre-sale ends tomorrow, so I advise you all to join the learning community and join EYL University today. All right? Matt Garland here, NMLS number 58700, but better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.